again. Good to be with you. Bill Pfeiffer speaking from Mary's Field. Do remember the subscribe and like button. It's always good to be with you. A few years ago, I read an article that detailed some of the ideas shared at a conference given by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She is an MD and a psychiatrist. She has written 3 books and given many talks and is credited with taking the subject of death out of the closet. I clipped a part of that article and I'd like to share some of this with you. I've shared this with my students, I think with some great value. The theme of Dr. Ross, it reiterated many times, was expose the child to windstorms. In other words, not to shelter children from life. Middle-class American children in this country, she said, are the most deprived because they know nothing of poverty, sickness, and death. In the last half of her talk, Dr. Ross focused on the data she has been collecting over her lifetime about life after death. Death, she said, is simply the shedding of the physical body. There were several reasons she began to be curious about life after death, Dr. Ross said. When she began the investigation, she said she was not a very religious person. One reason was that 3 or 4 days before death, she noticed that patients began talking to those who have preceded them in death. She was also curious about the peaceful expression that comes to the face of a dead person about 2 minutes after death, even to the fighters and the rebels, she said. Finally, she said she was curious as to why, as a physician, she was no longer interested in persons as soon as they had died. She began collecting life after death experiences from those who had died and had been resuscitated. Thousands of people from around the world were interviewed, she said, including Aborigines and children. She said she wanted to be sure before any data was published. Experience of death, she said, 1, involves no pain, fear, or anxiety, and 2, results in a sense of wholeness. People report the sense of a total physical body after death. Those who have lost a limb, for example, reported that it was restored. Persons who died report that each person has a guide, a guardian angel, who is with that person from birth till death and helps them in the transition. The experiences they report, she said, involve a passage through the tunnel toward a light that surrounds them with unconditional love. Anyone who experiences it never wants to come back, she says. People, according to their belief, designate the light as Christ, God, or love. It doesn't make any difference what you call it. It is total, absolute, unending love. The moment after death, she said, involves an evaluation of one's life, including the effects of all one's choices and actions. Those who have experienced death say that life's purpose is twofold: service and unconditional love. I believe it was Teilhard de Chardin, the famous um, uh, anthropologist, who said he believes that love is the ultimate constituent of the world. She ended her talk with reference to the words of an 85-year-old woman who, when asked how she would live her life if she had to live it over again, said that she would relax more, dance more, make more mistakes, take more trips, eat more ice cream and fewer beans, have more real problems and fewer imaginary ones, forget my raincoat and parachute and travel light, ride more merry-go-rounds and pick up more daisies. Reflect on this, pray on it, and do whatever he tells you. Happiness tomorrow always depends on doing the truth today. Live fully in this particular life, and life afterwards will be a lot of singing and dancing and the building of bridges for people to follow us. Good to be with you. God bless.